From silent drones in the sky to invisible cyber attacks on the ground, modern warfare has no boundaries. This isn't just the future, it's happening now. Welcome to Histology Hub, where history meets the weapons of tomorrow. War has always been a driver of technology. For centuries, victory often went to the side with the sharper sword or the faster ship. In the 20th century, this race for an edge moved into the skies and beyond. The Cold War introduced two revolutionary concepts that fundamentally changed the nature of conflict: satellites and stealth. Satellites became the eyes in the sky, orbiting high above the Earth. They allowed nations to see what their adversaries were doing without ever crossing a border. This was a massive change. No longer could armies or fleets move in complete secrecy. These orbital platforms provided invaluable intelligence, from tracking troop movements to identifying military bases with incredible precision and detail. This new age of overhead surveillance created a powerful counter-response. If you could be seen from space, you needed to find a way to become invisible again. This need gave birth to stealth technology. The goal was simple, but incredibly complex: to design aircraft, ships, and vehicles that were nearly undetectable by enemy radar, infrared sensors, or other detection methods. Engineers developed special shapes with sharp angles to deflect radar waves away from the source. They also created radar-absorbent materials to coat the surfaces of these machines, effectively soaking up the electronic signals sent to find them. The result was aircraft like the F-117 Nighthawk and the B-2 Spirit bomber, which could fly deep into enemy territory without being noticed. Together, satellites and stealth technology created a new kind of battlefield, one defined by information and invisibility. It was a game of cat and mouse played on a global scale. One side used space to see everything, while the other used advanced engineering to see nothing. This dynamic set the stage for the even more radical changes that were to come. It showed that the future of warfare would not just be about brute force. It would be about who had the better information and who could control the flow of that information. The ability to know where your enemy is, while remaining hidden yourself, became one of the most powerful weapons a military could possess. This shift from visible power to unseen advantage marked a critical turning point. Before, military strength was measured in the number of tanks, soldiers, and ships you could field. Now, a new element was just as important: technological superiority. A smaller force equipped with stealth aircraft and guided by satellite intelligence could potentially defeat a much larger, less advanced army. This principle of using technology to overcome numbers became the foundation of modern military strategy. The era of fighting with sheer mass was beginning to fade, replaced by an era of fighting with precision, information, and the element of complete and total surprise. Building on the foundation of remote sight and invisibility, the next major evolution in warfare was the drone. Officially known as unmanned aerial vehicles or UAVs, these pilotless aircraft have become a symbol of modern conflict. At their core, drones are flying robots. They can be controlled by a human operator from thousands of miles away, sitting safely in a command center. These operators see the world through the drone's high-definition cameras, as if they were in the cockpit themselves. This remote presence has completely changed the calculus of risk. A nation can now project power and conduct surveillance or even strikes in hostile territory without risking the life of a single pilot in the air. Drones come in all shapes and sizes, each designed for a specific purpose. There are large, high-altitude drones like the Global Hawk, which can stay airborne for more than a day, surveying vast areas of land. Then there are smaller, more tactical drones like the Predator and Reaper. These are not just for watching. They can be armed with missiles and bombs. This gives them the ability to find a target and engage it almost instantly. The time between spotting an enemy and launching an attack has shrunk dramatically. This capability, known as hunter-killer, allows for incredibly precise strikes that can target specific individuals or vehicles, a stark contrast to the large-scale bombing campaigns of past wars. The use of drones represents a fundamental departure from traditional combat. For thousands of years, warriors had to be physically present on the battlefield to fight. They faced their enemies directly, sharing the same risks and dangers. Drones create a separation. The person making the life or death decision is no longer in the immediate line of fire. This has been called cubicle warfare, where a soldier's workspace might resemble an office more than a trench. This distance raises new ethical questions about the psychological impact on the operators and the nature of engaging in combat from afar, blurring the lines between the front line and the home front in a way never seen before. Compared to old ways of fighting, drones offer unparalleled persistence and precision. A human pilot can only fly for a certain number of hours before fatigue sets in. A drone, limited only by its fuel, can stay on station far longer, providing constant watch over an area. This is a huge advantage. They can wait patiently for the right moment to act. When they do strike, they use laser-guided or GPS-guided munitions that can hit a target with pinpoint accuracy. This minimizes collateral damage compared to the unguided bombs of World War II, but it also makes warfare feel more like a surgical procedure than a chaotic battle, changing perceptions of what conflict looks and feels like. While drones rule the skies, another war is being fought in a completely invisible domain, cyberspace. This new battlefield is made of computer networks, data centers, and the internet itself. The weapons used here are not bombs or bullets, but malicious code, viruses, and hacking techniques. These are known as cyber weapons. Their purpose is to disrupt, damage, or destroy an enemy's digital infrastructure. This can mean shutting down power grids, disabling communication networks, or corrupting financial systems. A successful cyber attack can paralyze a country without a single shot being fired, causing chaos and confusion on a massive scale. Unlike traditional weapons, cyber weapons are difficult to trace. An attack can be routed through servers in multiple countries, making it nearly impossible to know for sure who launched it. This creates a problem of attribution. If a nation's electrical grid is taken down, who should they retaliate against? This ambiguity can prevent an escalation to physical conflict, but it also allows states to engage in hostile acts with a degree of deniability. Cyber warfare operates in a gray zone of international law, where the rules of engagement are still being written. It is a new kind of silent, undeclared conflict that happens every single day. A key part of this digital conflict is information warfare. This involves using technology to manipulate what people see and believe. Social media platforms, news websites, and online forums can be flooded with disinformation and propaganda. The goal is to sow division, erode trust in institutions, and influence public opinion in another country. By spreading false narratives, an adversary can weaken a society from within. This is a powerful tool because it targets the minds of the population, not just the military. It turns the concept of a front line on its head because anyone with a smartphone can be a target of or a participant in an information campaign. The contrast with older forms of warfare is stark. In the past, propaganda was spread through leaflets dropped from planes or radio broadcasts. It was a slow and often ineffective process. Today, a piece of disinformation can go viral and reach millions of people in a matter of hours. Algorithms designed to keep users engaged can unintentionally amplify the most outrageous and emotionally charged content, making it easier for bad actors to manipulate public discourse. This digital battle for hearts and minds is just as important as the physical battle on the ground, as it can shape the political will of a nation to fight at all. The next frontier in military technology is the integration of artificial intelligence, or AI. AI is not just one thing. It is a range of technologies that allow machines to think, learn, and make decisions on their own. In warfare, AI is already being used to analyze huge amounts of intelligence data much faster than any human could. It can sift through satellite imagery, drone footage, and communications intercepts to identify patterns and potential threats. This helps commanders make better, more informed decisions on the battlefield. AI acts as a powerful assistant, processing information at superhuman speeds to give human operators a clearer picture of the complex and fast-moving environment of war. The most profound and controversial application of AI is in autonomous weapons systems. These are weapons that can independently search for, identify, and engage targets without direct human control. This is a step beyond remote-controlled drones. An autonomous weapon would be given a mission and a set of rules, and it would then carry out that mission on its own. Proponents argue that these systems could be more precise and faster than human soldiers, potentially reducing casualties on all sides by reacting instantly to threats. They could operate in environments too dangerous for humans, such as areas contaminated with chemical weapons or under heavy fire. However, the idea of killer robots raises deep ethical and moral concerns. Can an algorithm truly be trusted with the decision to take a human life? How can a machine distinguish between a combatant and a civilian in the chaos of battle? Critics worry about the possibility of accidents, programming errors, or unforeseen situations that could lead to catastrophic mistakes. There is a global debate raging about whether to ban lethal autonomous weapon systems before they are ever deployed. The central question is whether humanity is prepared to delegate the ultimate power of life and death to a machine, removing the human conscience from the act of killing. Looking to the future, these technologies present a dual-edged sword. On one hand, tools like precision-guided munitions, advanced surveillance, and AI-assisted decision-making could lead to a safer form of war, with fewer civilian casualties and less risk to one's own soldiers. Conflict could become more surgical and less destructive. On the other hand, the proliferation of drones, cyber weapons, and autonomous systems could make war more likely. The reduced risk to soldiers might make leaders more willing to use force. The speed of AI-driven warfare could lead to rapid, uncontrollable escalation, where conflicts happen faster than humans can manage them. The future of war is uncertain, but it is clear that technology is transforming it into something faster, more remote, and potentially far more dangerous than ever before.